to make you feel like you're 13 again?
That's what I want. It's been a while since someone made me feel like that, you know?
All right, guys. Okay, so we are live on episode 1 of the Arm Wrestling Showcase. Thanks everybody for joining us and anybody that's tuning in right now. So Arm Wrestling Showcase, what we're planning to do with this show is this is going to be a platform to showcase up and coming arm wrestlers. And there's so many levels to this sport that on this show, the way Josh and I are looking at it is there's different concepts of what an up and comer would be. So there's going to be some people where, you know, you might not know their name and they're starting to make waves. There's going to be other athletes that you do know them, but they might be stepping up to that next level, to the upper echelon, maybe even the elites or anywhere up in the top levels. And I feel like we've got pretty much a good mix of that here. I want to introduce, we got my co-host up there, Nowhere to Run Arm Wrestling, Josh Edwards. And we also have Jeffrey Ray, who was my opponent at North versus South and did very, very well. I can tell by how sore I still am over a week later. Loving it. And we've got Mr. Tony Thomlison. He is currently still the reigning #1 left-hand super heavyweight in California. Still defended that crown against the legend Tom Nelson. We've got Israel Chavez in the chat here. Say hi, Israel. All right. Yeah, so Israel actually had a right-handed match with Tony, and he won. And Israel is now sitting at #8 for the right-hand super heavyweight in California, which was an amazing jump. We were just talking about that a minute ago. How, I mean, it's one thing to jump to #8, but when you actually beat Tony Thomlison in a super match, there's a little statement that kind of goes along with that. So we're really happy to have you here with us, Israel. We've also got Mr. Karl Gehrke here, the absolute monster, who did really, really well against Ryan Ballesteros, right-handed. I really loved that match. We were running 2 tables at that time, and we were pretty much back-to-back running our matches at the same time. But I went back and I watched your match probably like 3 times. It was really, really good. You guys have just iron elbows. I don't know how I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it was definitely the kind of match you want to see. And we've also got Mr. Vadim Drozhzhin in the call. Really happy to have Vadim in here. So I talked to Caleb Velasquez, Caleb Armbender, who's one of the committee members for California Arm Wrestling League. And I said, you know, outside of Ryan, we couldn't get Ryan Ballesteros on this call today. He's busy doing stuff with family, but we're definitely going to get him on because he made a huge statement being on a big break and getting that heavyweight win on Scott Partington left-handed. But other than Ryan, when I talked to Caleb, I said, you know, who's the person that made the biggest rankings jump, especially maybe even an up-and-comer? And the first person he could throw out was Vadim, getting a win on the legend Scott win. So that was pretty incredible, Vadim.
Yeah, bro. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I had a match set up with Justin Webb originally, and then Justin couldn't make it.
Oh, wait. We're losing you a little bit. There you are.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, so I had a match set up with Justin Webb. Yeah. And then he dropped out.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then so the first thing I did, I called up Caleb and told him, hey, man, do you think Scott Wynn would take the match? I didn't even think he would because we were so close to the tournament. I thought maybe he wouldn't want to or didn't know who I was. But Caleb reached out to him, and Scott's like, oh, yeah, I remember your guy. Okay, sure, let's do it. So he agreed. And I was like, wow, okay, that's great.
And yeah, it was
such
a
great
good match.
opportunity. Yeah.
after getting the chance to after pull you, and by the way, you're just incredibly strong. You kind of remind me of Caleb in the way that you are strong, but you've also got this incredibly long arm and you use it very well. And I can see how those things really came into making it such a great match with Scott. Scott does seem to have a tendency to want to go up top, or at least utilize a lot of hand in his matches. And it was an interesting fight. But congratulations on that, bro. That was really cool.
Yeah, so I faced him in January and I had to make an adjustment for our match. Yeah, and it paid off.
So it didn't go quite as well in January then?
Yeah, I lost him in January, just like I lost the first round to him in that match.
Okay.
Yeah, if you remember. And then I'm like, wait, I forgot I have the readjustment I was supposed to try. And I tried and it worked. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, that's what people want to see that comeback, you know. So good job. And that's what's really cool about super matches, or even just rivalries, the opportunity to adjust, change things, train harder, whatever it is. So okay, well, now that we've got you all introduced and we've got this thing going, I'm going to man the chat. And before I hand things over to Josh here, so he can kind of go through each of your matches, rankings, you know, plans for the future, all that stuff, I'm going to say a quick hello to the chat. We got Benjimac in here. Yo, 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 he says. We got Dominic in here. He says, get it, boys. Hell yeah. And we've got Don Mormon saying hello. Hey, pullers. Hello, Don. And let's see. Dominic says, I'm coming for that spot, brother. I don't know who he's talking about. But I don't know. Are you talking about me, or are you going to put on some weight and are you going to take one of these other guys down, Dom?
It's going to have to be one of the featherweights.
Yeah, he was feeling strong at the after pull. But we shall see, Dom. All right, Josh. I'll just keep an eye on the chat here. If you want to take it one by one with some of these guys, let's dig a little deeper.
Cool. Yeah. How's everybody doing today? I want to start out with Tony. You faced Tom Nelson a year ago or so at the King of Cali, and you were victorious there, claiming that #1 left-handed spot. You put it on the line and let him have a rematch with you. You had said when we were leading up to this that you wanted to see if you were supposed to hold that crown, or if there was a trilogy in the making. Do you feel like you definitely solidified that spot? Did you feel anything different from Tom this time than you did last time?
I mean, I would feel like I solidified it because of what Tom told me afterwards. He was in better shape this time than he was last. So I beat him 3-1 before, and it was a hard match. You know, it wasn't easy. And I'm not saying that this one was easy. I just got I think I started a little bit faster. I was a little bit stronger. You know, I've been practicing a lot of side pressure, stuff like that. So I would say I've kind of solidified it. But as you all know, it's been said that I'm not King of Cali. There's one specific guy that I need to beat, and I think I'm going to. I just need a super match with him. You know, it's going to be hard, but you don't know Varej, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, he hasn't challenged anybody. He's always doing tournaments and stuff like that. So, I don't know if we can get a super match going with that guy. I still need to beat what's his name in Petaluma? Eric Wolf. Yeah. So, I mean, I took the crown from Tom, and I did better this time, but I still don't think I'm fulfilled yet. I think there's a long way to go still. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. I was obviously I was right there close to you guys with the mic in my hand. I definitely did get to hear the respect and humbleness from Tom. I mean, he said, like, oh my God, you're a freaking monster. It's really cool to see that, like, when two high-level athletes meet up, no matter if it's a win or lose situation, the respect, you know, and admiration for each other just for showing up and doing it. So really cool on both of you for that, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else have anything that they want to say about Tony and Tom's match?
I do have a question about that with Vrej. I mean, Josh, I know you'll definitely know more in this respect, but all you guys might have some insight on this. I kind of suck when it comes to where people are at rankings and this and that, trying to get better. But it seems to me that he's kind of the unspoken guy right now. But on paper, it should be Tony, or right? Or am I
Right,
wrong?
On paper, it's me right now. Yes.
Right, right.
So where are we looking at this, right? If we're looking at the open super heavyweight King of Cali, it's Tony. Like that's not a debate. If we're talking about anomalies and we're just talking about like a guy who, you know, it can go one of two ways in a super match, that doesn't take that king title. I mean, Vrej is the king of his weight class for sure, and he's done fantastic things. But I think that those crowns they're set for a level for a reason. You know, this is like the open weight guy. Now, on that same token, if Tony ends up having a super match with him and he puts that crown on the line, that's up to, that's whatever they decide to, between them two. But yeah, I think right now you can't say that Tony's not the king of Cali left-handed for sure.
Did you beat Vrej in LA? Did you beat him?
No, I elbow fouled twice.
He looked really good though.
That was
Really
lefty.
good.
Oh, I'm talking like that far from that pad, dude. That
Yeah.
far. I was so close. I was super motivated that tournament because I was supposed to have a match with Larry Wheels, a super match with Larry Wheels, and it ended up that he didn't take it. So probably for a good reason, but I was super stoked. And then I got beat by Vrej earlier in the tournament, and I was like, I feel like I could do something. I'm super motivated. So that next time, dude, I was all out. I hit him like a freight train.
And that was like a couple of years ago, I want to say, right?
No, that was the beginning of this year.
That was this last one. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. And as far as I know, with the way they kind of run the California rankings, if it's a tournament, they're looking for 2 convincing wins for someone to rise above the other. So it sounds like we need a good best of 5 super match between you two guys. And I think that would be a really, really interesting match. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. I have one other question, because one thing we want to do on this particular show, the Arm Wrestling Showcase, and future episodes, when we have guys that have been around like you and like Karl and coaches, we're hoping to have you guys come on with any prospects that you have from your teams or anybody that you would, I guess, endorse in your own way to back in terms of their potential. So on your team, I have I know Hampus, I think Headland is maybe his last name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was quite impressive as far as a breakout dude. But if you were to bring anybody from your team that you think is just really making some jumps or strides at this point, who would that be?
I mean, my number one guy, Alan Hadji.
Okay, well, he's been around though,
He's been around for 4 years.
Up and comer.
What about a lower up and comer?
Let's see.
This is gonna make all your up and comers want to step it up a little bit.
There's Ben. Ben is another super heavyweight. He's getting up there pretty quick in power. Who else? There's Waldo. Waldo's on.
Oh yeah.
Waldo. I'm a super fan of Waldo, man. I'm telling you.
Big time. Yeah.
He's gonna be like the US's Oleg.
Yeah.
Oleg, right?
Yeah. Just built for it.
He's got that hand that's built to crush things. So
that's right. And it feels so terrible to grip up with as well. Yeah. We got to get him.
I do it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
awesome.
He's making me better too. So is Alan. Those two guys are they're obnoxiously powerful. A couple of the guys that came with us to Bakersfield. There was Caesar. Caesar's going to be another good one. He just needs a little bit more power, I think, for his weight class. It's about 200s. I mean, Ben, once he gets that that faith and that confidence in his hand, I think he's going to become a better arm wrestler as well.
McCabe,
Yeah.
have you in practice have you gripped up with him much, like in a full hook, to see where he's at there?
I mean, he's better top roll. I think his top roll is phenomenal when he decides to use it, and I think it's going to surprise people when he decides to use it.
Wow.
He's so going to surprise people. Yeah, he's got weapons, man. It's just a matter of him doing it.
I get
When
that.
he's so used to losing that hand right away, it's a very bad habit.
Sure.
It's his, and he owns it. So, isn't that right, Ben? Since he's on here.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, we definitely got to set something up with a few of your guys at some point. Yeah, take it away, Josh.
Yeah, Karl. So you took that #1 spot last year from Jody Smith, and then you put it on the line the other day against Ryan Ballesteros, who obviously came in and made a ton of noise. How did you feel about your match, the event as a whole? What are your plans moving forward?
Event was good. I liked it. Obviously, you plan on doing it again. Should be a yearly thing. So that I think I'd definitely participate. You get called out for the Ryan match. Yeah, I mean, could have gone either way. Just helped me out a little bit that he had that long match with Scott, obviously. I think Caleb did him dirty, putting him 10th in the rankings, because I feel like the top 4 guys in California are super close together. The only person there I haven't beat is Scott. So, I mean, when he put me #1, I was like, well, I haven't beat Partington yet. So, is what it is. Next on the line for me, I'm not going to compete till probably August. Hurt my hand. Month ago now. So, held up with Ryan, but I just need to take some time and get it healed all the way.
Did it surprise you at all, Ryan, coming off of about a 2-year layoff, that he was that strong and that primed for a match?
I mean, anyone who's taking some time off knows that those fresh gain, like, just you feel fresh, you're just stupid strong. So, yeah, I mean, he'd said been training a little bit. I didn't think he'd be that strong, but he was solid. I mean, what he did with Partington was crazy. I mean, my left hand, I've stopped Partington a couple times, but nothing like that. It's that second surge where he gets you. Just being able to do that, it's just, very impressive. So we'll see what happens next with him. I think there are a couple guys he needs to pull. I think he should pull Jody, right and left, just to see where he's at. And yeah, just firm up where the top of those rankings are in California. So he very impressive. For a short guy too, he should be a 200-pound guy. He just likes food too much.
Right. Would you ever want to have a match again with him?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, once my hand heals back up, I mean, I'd pull him tomorrow. It's not a big deal, but I just no problem pulling him whenever he wants to do it. I'm down. I just want to take a little break till August. Do that. I don't know, whatever, the World Series of Arm Wrestling, whatever it's called now, Garage to Fitness type thing. You qualify for that and do that one.
Cool. Yeah, and thank you for coming, man. It was super awesome of all you guys to show up. It was a great day.
No, it was fun. Like some of his matches were crazy. Like Vadim's was awesome. Obviously Ryan's. I thought Tony was going to win, but then he just had to, shit the bed. Just terrible right-handed arm wrestler, that guy. I don't even know.
Hey, watch it now, boy. Watch it now.
But yeah, there's some great matches, and honestly, when you have 50 super matches and there's only one injury, that's really good statistically speaking.
That's a good point. Definitely. Yep.
Yeah, it was a nice day. Anybody else have anything they want to input about Karl and Ryan's match?
I don't know. It just blew me away. Like I said before we got on live, you know, watching both of those guys' elbows were going through. Like I'm still having elbow pain after reviewing his match a few times. Just incredible. And those are definitely the signs of some very, very strong people that have also been conditioned pretty well for this. But yeah, I mean, I love that back and forth. That was a good grinder, Karl. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
How's the chat?
Hey, Karl, how does Ryan's energy, does it affect you at all during the match?
No, not really. Like the only time he even kind of went off was that first foul he had, and he just started laughing like he had it. But in my mind, right there, I was like, there was a little stop, and I was like, oh, I'm strong enough. So like I just have to find my lane. So, but I like that, you know, that kind of fire you up, like get in your face type thing. But I don't know. I wish I could do that. I just don't have it. I'm just like, I'm the worst arm wrestler for like progressing this sport. Like I like the bar scene. I hate, you know, like really nice things. I don't post anything on social media. I'm just terrible for the sport.
That's just
you're important for it though. We need that. We need those characters there too that can show that you can absolutely be a beast and hang in there with some of these guys that are all, you know, over the top and like Bull Hurley and shit like that. So I think it's important.
Next up, Israel. You had a huge match. Came into the North versus South as an underdog against Tony Thomlison. And you are now seated number 8 in California in the super heavyweight right-handed division. How'd you feel about your match? Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months?
The match was amazing. I had every emotion I could ever imagine just running through my mind. It was just trying to get like that very first go. Right after that, I was kind of actually nervous after that very first go. I didn't know how it was going to go once we got on the strap. Once we got in the strap, my confidence started going up a little bit. I started to feel better. Definitely, I would have to say that Tony took me to my red line. I mean, I tried as hard as I've ever tried with any match in that match, and definitely my biggest win to date by far, and I'll always remember it as my biggest win, especially, you know, as the years go on and I'm beating all of Tony's teammates and, you know, everybody else.
Unbelievable. Did the energy in the room help you in that match?
Oh, it was you know, I think the first thing I remember hearing was silence. You know, I heard like a silence, like, and I look around and everybody's just like, what is going on? Nobody could believe that I was in the match with Tony, you know? And then after that, when I started hearing some cheering, it's just like I was kind of in, you know, my own head for most of the match. It was just a surreal moment to be up there and having this match with Tony. And once I felt like I could actually be in the match, I
started talking shit. I can't believe he started talking shit. I was like, what is this guy thinking?
That was pure emotion. I couldn't believe that I was in a match with you, man. It just came out. I blurted it out.
He was like, come on, Tony, come on. I was like, dude.
It was definitely the best moment of the night for me. It was just, you know, we had to wait a long time finally get to our match, and then once we did, it was dynamite. It was just amazing. I loved it. And then so I thank Tony a lot for giving me that match. It like we were talking about earlier, that match does a lot more for me than just, you know, the number 8 ranking. Beating Tony is a very well respected arm wrestler across the whole country, and, you know, right and left-handed. I mean, I know his left hand is his stronger arm, but, you know, I'm not taking anything from him. He's a beast right-handed, and beating him really, I think, like, shows everyone down in SoCal that, you know, I'm serious and I'm coming. And, you know, like beating one of the guys that you see on YouTube pulling all these, you know, beasts and hammering everyone down, it makes you feel like, who's that guy you're watching right there beating him, you know?
Hey, accept it, appreciate it, man. It's gonna be short-lived.
Oh. looking forward to that
Yes.
rematch. You know, I'm looking forward to that rematch.
Dude, you came in knowing how to beat me right away. You did some research, dude. You know, like I don't think my right is that. I'm
You're
still strong enough.
strong.
You know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you knew what you were doing. You did good, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Oh shoot, that first steady because I was thinking like Levon power.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, watch, I'm gonna Levon him, and I did.
You
And
did,
then after that, it was like, what the fuck, you know?
yeah. I know. It's the difference in the strap. Your hand is too strong for me outside the strap. I need something to hold me down to you.
That's true.
Yeah. And then
one of the coolest.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna continue, but I want to hear what you want to say.
I was just going to say one of the coolest things about that day that Kane and I were talking about leading up to it was kind of putting some of the higher level matches and then lower level and then kind of mixing it up. And it just like you said, you guys waited around for your match for a while, but once it happened, it was another one of those huge matches that all attention went to it. That's where that silence came from. Everybody was in awe. And it lit up the room, you know, again and again. So
absolutely. I mean, you know, it's the nature of the beast. I mean, an event with only super matches, you know, it's you never know how long it's going to take. I mean, that's not something you can really, you know, one match might be 5 minutes long. The other one might take 25 minutes. Like, you know, Ryan and Scott Partington's, they were just, you know, down to the very last foul. So.
Right. Yeah, it was exciting, man. Your guys' match was definitely one of my favorites to watch. Being right there. It was so hard for me too. Because I'm sitting there with the microphone, and so I can't cheer for anybody, right? I'm like, and here we go. They're doing good. You know, I'm like, you know, wanted to cheer for you guys and everything, guys I train with and everything, but we're all friends, so it worked out great. It was just awesome to be a part of it and to watch you guys pull two animals at the table like that, to be that close to the war. It was great. The energy was huge. So
I loved it. It was an amazing event.
Yeah, I had a hard time with that too, Josh, because I got to know all you Northern guys and all these live streams. I'm like, damn, these guys are cool guys. And, you know, you're having matches with my teams and my training partners and everything. I'm like, well, I got to back my team. I got to back my training partners. But, you know, in the background, I was just like, damn, man, you know.
We caught you slipping up. One of my teammates
said,
hey, man, Kane was cheering for me while I was going against the South guy, and I was like, "Oh, that's
crap! I blew it."
Hey, Josh, that kind of went both ways because Benny was cheering for Kane whenever I was arm wrestling Kane too. He was over there coaching him.
It's the same thing. We're all friends, you know. Like I said that day, man. Enemies for a moment, friends for life. You know.
That's right. And we're all California, anyways. You know, the next step is going to be to have this state take down every other state, even though we're as big as like 5 of them put together for a lot of them.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm prettier than Israel.
Oh,
yeah, I can't argue there.
So the rematch is the beauty contest. I love it.
That's right.
I think that's a good idea for our first poll. We'll put up a poll of their 2 pictures next to each other and just, you know, what are they going to swipe right or left?
Hey, that's
yes.
That's
yes,
how
definitely.
Facebook started.
Awesome.
I want to add something.
Go ahead.
So Ilya, I've been talking to him, and he really liked your guys' match. And Israel, he's very anxious to pull you.
Yeah,
he's seen you before.
We got to do a little pulling after pulling at the event. Yeah, he's a strong guy. He's a strong guy. He's my same age too. That'll be a good one to have.
You made an impression on him.
The Sharks are out, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I just thought of? Our match
Yeah.
Our match reminds me of Anthony Joshua and Ruiz, #1.
Wow. That was a good match. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Has anybody watched that at all? No boxing fans in here, huh?
Did you just call?
Oh yeah, of course. I've seen Ruiz knock out Joshua with the hits, of course, on the back of the head. No, that was a great. That's a great analogy, though. I mean, yeah. So you're Anthony Joshua, obviously, the pretty one, and then Israel is Ruiz. So,
yeah, that man. Goodness.
That was a good time.
Anything else in the chat right now, Kane? Are we all good?
We've got a couple chats from Dominic Elston. He says, oh, we got a couple more too. All right. So he says, my voice is still gone from cheering on that match. I'm assuming he might be talking about Karl, or he's talking about Israel and Tony. But yeah, that was a little while ago. And we got he also said Larry doesn't want that smoke from Tony.
No way. I saw what happened.
Yeah.
I know.
What do you guys think? Do you think it's a match, Tony and Larry Wills?
The thing is,
No.
man, like, so Larry's strong, right? And he's super strong, nice guy, nicest guy ever. But you can't teach the tendon strength and the different things that Tony has, established.
Right.
Tony knows where to go in the different spots. It would be, I would say Tony is a heavy favorite for sure.
Of course. Yep.
Obviously, there's a possibility for anything on any given Sunday, but yeah, I think
get
Larry needs a little bit more time before he can pull that level. I think, but who knows?
Especially with Tony prepped for it and everything. Absolutely.
Take some vitamin D.
I had a question for Tony real quick, just about the Israel match. So what was the buzz like down in Southern California? Because up here, most of us know, like, Israel's a beast, but what did you guys know about him before the match?
About Israel?
Yeah.
Nothing. Absolutely not a goddamn thing. Matter of fact,
so everybody down south.
I literally had to spend hours searching for him, and I found some video, and I had to be honest, I had no feeling that it was even going to be a match at all. Now, Paul Italia went and told me that he was something to watch out for. So, I mean, I didn't underestimate him, but well, maybe I did. I think I underestimated him a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, I knew nothing.
That was a good question, Jeff. So being that you did look him up a little bit, does that mean you're one of the guys that does research your opponent as much as you can, or do you just kind of focus on your lane, whoever you're pulling?
Well, I mean, you always focus on your lane, but if someone's better than me in the hand, then of course I'm going to try something different too, just to have a different weapon, And unfortunately, I didn't have a different weapon in this match. Yeah, it was just not enough info to really go on, But as an ex-boxer, you always do a little bit of research at least,
Sure. We've also got Don Mormon in the chat. He's painting right now, and we are keeping him entertained. Superpower painting, Don. We're glad to have you here listening.
Vadim, you came in as a guy that not too many people, down there might have known about. I mean, I know you've been to a few tournaments and whatnot. Went from not being ranked at all to pulling Scott Wynn and coming out victorious left-handed to now be sitting in the number 6 spot in California. How does that feel, man? And did you think that you had a chance going into the match? And also, same question as everybody else, where do you see yourself, going in the next 6 months to a year?
Well, I think it's 7th, not 6th, but I didn't really know what to expect. I wanted to try to adjust when we pulled, because the first time it was so close. I had him very close to the pad, but we ended up going to straps, and I went up high again, and it was a bad idea because he carved me in, or he was able to hook me in. So the second time when we pulled, my idea was to get in the straps if he's holding on to me outside the straps, and then change up and go lower, more back, and that was I was successful there. Going into the match, I wasn't confident that I was going to win, but I knew I had a lane, and so I just wanted to see what would happen, and what happened. We were driving over there, and Nick was in the car. He gave me a 40% chance of winning. So I was like, there's a chance. I'll take it. And as soon as that second round, when I got him, I was like, wow, that was such a crazy momentum shift. I realized, like, there's a lane I could actually beat him. So had to keep going. But yeah, I mean, I was training for it, did my best. And I've been slowly climbing. I wasn't sure when to transition to become, going pro. I've been pulling a lot of amateurs, but I recently started like about 6 months ago, pulling in open. But there's not that many people, so it's kind of hard to say where I was. I had to go against David, but I was in 205, I think, for that one, or 198. I was 198. So I pulled him, but he's just, on another level. But then I wasn't sure who I was. But luckily with Scott, we ended up being pretty close. I saw him at the LA tournament. So I'm glad things played out the way they did.
Is that the only other time that you've gripped up with Scott? Was at LA?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And what are your plans for the next 6 months in arm wrestling? This next year, what's it look like for you? You got more tournaments lined up? You have any super matches that you're trying to get lined up?
Yeah, so I think Sonora or somewhere over here, there's gonna be a tournament locally, and then the Apricot Festival one. So I always go to that one, then Tuolumne, and then probably in LA. Caleb was telling me there's a tournament. So yeah, I mean, I'm planning on staying active this summer, just trying to heal up before each one and train, So I'll definitely be putting my rank on the line just to, whoever wants to come. Maybe I can climb, who knows?
Yeah, we definitely want to see more of you. I mean, it's super exciting when there's guys that, people didn't know were out there or whatever, and they come in and make noise like that. And then it lets everybody know that you can't be complacent, in your spot or wherever you're at. We always every day we got to keep training and sharpening our sword. The minute that we become lazy or we start resting, and that's when the guys pass us up. So we definitely want to see you out there and keep doing it, man. Congratulations on that match. It was huge.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I try to be very consistent as much as I can. I have a full-time business, working like 80 hours a week at least. So it's kind of tough at times, but, at least I get to grip up with Caleb at work. And now Ilya, I get to grip up with Ilya. So like today, we did a little air pulling after. It's small things, but, they add up if you can do it consistently every day.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, you start pulling with Ilya, and oh man, look, that dude's different. That dude's different, man.
Oh yeah.
I watched him, holding Big Rob and Joe, and I know we're all practicing and stuff, but still, to be that fresh and to come out there and do that. I mean, he's pretty new in the sport, so that's awesome. Yeah, that guy's exciting too.
It's fun to try to roll out of his hand, and he always lets you hit. You're like, all right, go ahead, do whatever you can. So you get to really practice hitting.
Right. Yeah, he's a beast, monster.
Yeah. I just want to say one real quick. I predict a lot of big things from you, Vadim. I'm glad you're with us, and I wish you luck. I was looking while you were talking. You actually are sitting at number 6, not 7.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Who dropped out? Who's dropped?
Oh, well, shoot. I don't know if someone did drop out, if that's the case. But yeah, Scott Wynn is at 7 now, and you're at 6 on the left.
That's even better. Thank you.
True story.
This is a democracy. We voted you in.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna win my way up, not just have people drop. I'll prove it. Next person, I'll prove I can do too.
For sure. Cool. Jeff Ray, how you doing, man?
What's up, my man? How are you guys?
Good. You had a huge match at the North versus South against Kane, the host of the show. You guys have had some banter back and forth, some friendly, trolling each other. Kane made you a song and everything. You guys are going back and forth. There was a cool little lead up. Had you ever gripped up with Kane before that match, or was that you guys' first time meeting?
No, that was our first time ever gripping up with Kane.
And when the match started, was it as you expected? Did you think that that you were going to have him in the strength category, that his hand was not going to be so strong? Did he surprise you anywhere?
Well, initially I thought that the speed was going to be my biggest problem. So my number one goal was just to get up there and try to hold on as tough as I can and absorb his hit. It seemed like it worked pretty well for me on the left hand. I felt like I had plenty of power. Just multiple starts and fouls, and I ended up gassing out with the left hand. And he made some adjustments too, and just edged me out for the win on that. Unfortunately, I think I'm the only one here with a loss on both hands for the day, but I walk away from that tournament just feeling like I got so much better from it, and I'm super, super grateful that I was able to go and pull Kane for sure.
It's definitely not a loss, buddy. You won the amateur state championship at the UAL this year on both hands, and you're making your leap into the open category, and it's super impressive. Everything that you're doing is great. Like, you're definitely a guy to watch out for in that 165 class. And yeah, super impressed with your performance. It was definitely a win, man. You showed up strong. You didn't back out of the match. You took the match, and afterwards you went right over to the side table to work with Kane and see where there might have been some different ways and stuff. And so your dedication to learning and getting better is definitely it's apparent. It's easy to see. Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I really do. I'm just humbly trying to learn as much as I can. And, we started this thing trying to do the little back and forth friendly banter and stuff. And Kane was just way too nice to me. I couldn't be mean to him or try to come in there with a lot of crap talking or anything like that. But he was super, super humble. And after the match, even walked straight over to the practice table with me to show me where I could have had a lane with him that he felt. That's the thing about this sport. It seems like it doesn't matter who you grip up with, whether you win or lose. It seems like everybody's always just trying to help each other get better. There ain't nothing like it.
Not everybody's a shit talker, Jeff.
Yeah.
I like to shit talk a little bit, but I'm not that good at it. I just try, because it's fun.
But, I like to shit talk on the table when I'm winning.
Yeah, see, that's where it's at though. Like I've never done that. I've never talked shit on the table. Ask Israel, did I talk shit or was I all nice guy?
Oh, this guy's too nice, man. This guy is too nice.
Yeah, but none of that off the table banter was needed, because you definitely brought the fire in the match.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I like. That's where we fight, and you came for a fight. And yeah, you definitely hitting, trying to hit with you was off the table right away when I gripped up with you. Your hand is unbelievable. And just your load. I haven't felt so uncomfortable in a setup in a match in a long time. Like, everything had to change for me really, really quick. But I was just in general so impressed with your abilities and the fight that you brought. Yeah, that's what made me want to just, like, when it was done, I felt like that match could have gone either way. So I just really wanted to jump on that after pull table before we all got thrown in our mixes or the rest of the day. And yeah, I thought we had some good time to put in. But man, this is part of why you're here. We're going to be going over a couple topics in a minute so that we can all kind of discuss them and give our insight on it. And one of them is when to ascend to the open class category. Some people call it pro. We're going to discuss that too. But you're in that spot right now. We've talked about that a little bit, and I 100% think you need to stay in the open class myself. But
it's definitely something that I've been struggling with, because when I started, I was pulling in the 186 class. My first super match was with Vince Pulaski Sr. And that was a humbling experience, and realizing that, like, I apologize. Hang on 1 second. Okay, baby. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, guys. I got my kids in here with me. But it was a humbling experience pulling with Vince, because I feel like I have the frame of a 65, but I have a bunch of kids and I eat like shit. So I tend to put on a few extra pounds in between matches. And so the cut was hard for me. But in the 160 or 185 pound class, you got guys that are cutting down from 200 to get down to that weight. and they just have a bigger frame than me. So being uncomfortable and cutting down to 65 is definitely where I think I want to focus on for now, and maybe later on when I have a little more tendon strength and build up a little bit more of a base, I can move up to the 185-pound class.
Was your cut uncomfortable at all? Because you seem to come in pretty good shape.
This time it wasn't. In LA Fit, it was torturous. It was terrible, but I did it the wrong way.
So you made adjustments.
Yeah, I haven't cut since high school. You know, I was a wrestler in high school, but I was cutting, you know, from 55 to 45, like 5 pounds. This is like cutting from, you know, high 170s down to 165. It's definitely a lot different, especially at 34 years old with 7 kids. So
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into our 2 main topics that we can all discuss, I'm going to just take a peek here at the chat. We've got Natfit LLC in the house. I'm assuming, I know Natfit has several branches now, so I don't know if we got Jamie here, Jamie Sheldon talking, but he says new pull amateurs. However, if you are one that has the gift and stands out above the rest, pull pro/open immediately as well, he said. And I think that's a good emphasis, pull everything, because it's all experience, right? If, you know, at first, and I don't think people will get mad at you if you're pulling a pro tournament and an open tournament if you're kind of new. And that's what he said. I did that my first year. That's what he did. We've got Aaron Blevins in the house, and he says, I'm 1-0 on Vadim left-handed. Wow. Okay. We got to get something going here, Vadim.
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
It was at the Tuolumne tournament, and he won. I can't say anything. The reps were not as like proper, I guess, or they weren't as strict as I thought they would be. So basically, he goes inside, right? So I set up like a low hand top roll, but when I gripped him, I just felt like I was carved in. I was high, just he was in a terrible position. So I did not think the ref was going to start it. I expected them to straighten me out, but they just said go, and I didn't even hit. He hit, so I caught him down here, and then I was like, well, this is like, I don't know. I caught him, but it was already like so out of my comfort zone. I didn't want to get injured or anything. I didn't really warm up in that position, so I was like, I'll just let it go. But I mean, when we pulled after pull, I thought I felt pretty comfortable. You know, not that I, you know, right through him, but I mean, like, I feel like I have a good lane there. Besides, I mean, he battled to throw some shade at him. He battled Scott after he had a battle with me, you know, right-handed, and he didn't come on top that time.
That's
so
true.
I don't know, left-handed. It would be nice to see him and Scott go left-handed. Aaron as well.
All right, Aaron, let's run this. We got to run it. Vadim versus Aaron in what, best of 5?
Well, I think I'm going to see him at the Tuolumne or next Patterson. I'll see him because he's here with us, so I'm definitely going to face him again.
It sounds like a triple threat between you, Aaron, and Scott Wynn.
Ooh, a little round robin or something.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm down.
Might have to add like Nick in there or something.
Yeah.
Nick? No,
Round
Nick is Nick is the next level, not left-handed.
I know Nick's left is wicked, dude.
Yeah, there's a big jump between 4th and 5th.
I know Nick and Aaron go is a real good match right-handed. I think Aaron's got the win on the last one for that one.
Okay. We're talking Nick Postal right now.
Yeah,
Nick Postal.
Okay. Yeah, man. And by the way, speaking of Nick Postal, for all these matches from North versus South, go check out his channel, Armtube. All the left-handed and right-handed matches are there. If you want to see more of the full tournament vibe, especially when they were running 2 tables so that you don't miss anything, go check out Benjimac as well, his channel. Really good for footage there, guys. But yeah, at the after party, it was my first time pulling Nick. Holy crap. That guy's,
Mhm.
yeah, right. That guy's pretty strong, man.
That was the first guy who showed me like that level.
Right. And that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, yeah, level. All right.
So check this out. When we were at the Devin Larratt seminar in Modesto, Nick and Devin put their arms on the table, elbow to fingertip, and Nick's was slightly longer than Devin's.
Shut up.
And Devin's 6'6", right? Nick has an unusually long forearm. Very, very, very long.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there was something extremely uncomfortable about Nick. I mean, not to say he wasn't ridiculously strong, but yeah, I think that was the little added ingredient. Just that freaking height on his arm.
Yeah, he's built for that post. He's built for that dragging that high back. I mean, he's built for sure.
It's in his last name, bro.
And before Vadim, you said anything of that, any of what you said to Aaron, he also said, don't be complacent in your spot. Listen to Josh. We've got, let's see, Dominic Elston said, so what's AB? And
Aaron Blevins.
Aaron Blevins. Okay. All right. Yeah. And we've got Heraclio Ramirez, Hercules in the house. He says, what's up, guys? Hercules also had an amazing match. So you guys go check out Armtube, go check out Benjimac, watch some of these matches. We've got Dominic says, I'm coming for that 165 spot. Which spot are you taking, Dom? You can start at the very bottom with me.
That might be the next one. That might be the next one for me. You can come my way, Dom, if you'd like.
Yeah, that would be a good match. That would be a really good match. I'd like to see that. And we've got Don in here saying Jeff is hungry. This is true. He is very hungry.
Hey, I just want to say real quick to Don, I had about an hour and a half long conversation with him the day after North versus South, and super grateful for you. Your wisdom in the sport is very appreciated, and I got a ton of respect for Don Mormon.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He really is. And Aaron is laughing, I'm guessing, at what Vadim had to say. And he says he loves it. He loves it. He wants you to bring that smoke. He says, I won't be in California for the next 3 months. I'll be in North Carolina. He said he'll be back in July.
Got 3 months of time, Vadim.
Damn, he bought his ticket just when this live stream started, huh? As soon as I said I'm going to meet him this summer, he's gone.
He bought the plane ticket. Yeah. He says his left hand is different, though.
He messaged me yesterday morning. He planned on being gone for a minute.
So he actually says he's coming for Nick left-handed. Okay. All right. And we got Johnny Dang in the house, my Alpha Empire teammate. Shout out Johnny Dang. He's an up-and-comer. He's a beast. He's making strides. He says, mad props, NorCal. All right, guys. So that's that. We're caught up with the chat. Let's crack open these topics here. So the main theme of this is when to ascend to that open or pro class, whatever you want to call it. But first, I think we need to kind of dictate what is all of your opinions on what a pro arm wrestler is. Is there no such thing? Talked to Scott Wynn a little bit about it, and he shares the same opinion as a lot of others that say that if you're a pro arm wrestler, that means you're making money. And no one's really, there's some people making money. I don't know, but you can maybe count them on one hand in the world that are making a living off of arm wrestling. But that seems to be the consensus for the people that are in that camp. And then there's a massive amount of people, at least that I've noticed, that call the open class pro, or that they are a pro arm wrestler and they've been pulling like 3-4 years or whatever. Let's start with Tony. What are your thoughts on that, Tony?
About paying pros, right?
What dictates a pro?
What dictates a pro? Yeah. Is there even such thing as a pro in arm wrestling? Yeah.
I think there's a pro in every sport you have. I mean, you have your amateur, you have your novices, no matter what everybody thinks or says. And, arm wrestling is too small to have categories. Yes, it can. And we do, and it works just fine. I think being a pro, you were just better than all the amateurs. You know, I think if you can get into an amateur tournament or, you know, anything like that, and you're beating everybody. So like, let's say Casey, for instance, Casey has won a couple tournaments in amateur. He's now a pro, you know, but ultimately, if you really need a stance on or a staple on when you should go pro, like logically, is go to a national and hit top 3. Any national tournament, hit top 3. You should automatically be a pro. That's kind of the staple in my mind, anyway. People will disagree or agree either way.
Interesting.
But,
that makes sense. I mean, the bar should be kind of high because isn't that gap between amateur and pro or open pretty big?
Because ultimately, I mean, do you truly have an authentic sport if you don't have these kind of things going on? If you don't have rankings? You know, people say, I don't care about rankings. Dude, yes, you do. That's why you do what you do. You know, you want to be the best. That's a ranking system. So ultimately, I think being pro, you just got to get in there and do it. Me personally, I did pro left and right my very first tournament in 2014, and I took third both left and right. And then I did an amateur at the same tournament, left-handed. I beat everybody there. So, and I've been pro ever since.
Well, yeah, I think all of that makes a lot of sense. I think all of those things are really valid, and I don't know, we should listen to that because you've definitely been around. And Karl, you just hop back here just in time, and it's Charlotte you got with you, right?
Cheyenne,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing Jeff did. About 10 months in, I went to East LA Fit Expo, left and right, undefeated, pro from there on out. Obviously, there are guys like Jamie said that are just they're just built different. They can do it. But I mean, when you go to a big event and you do really well as an amateur, you got to be a pro. There's the only way you're going to progress.
That's it. The bomb from like World War. I'm not talking about that.
In the house, in the cupboard.
I'm talking about that.
So let me throw a situation into that, and I'll use my experience for this, but I'm kind of stupid. So I went into the open class like second month into the sport. I want to say I only got second place at the IFA, or no, not even that. The IFA qualifier was my first open deal, but in amateurs I only got second place. But for certain reasons, I wanted to progress by arm wrestling and competing with the higher class, even at the cost of losing. I felt like where I was sitting in amateurs, it would be a slower progression to make a big point to be getting gold anywhere in amateur. And in pro or open, whatever you want to call it, I have taken the second place. That was the best. But typically I'm around middle of the pack, 4th, 5th place. So somebody that's already been doing that for like 3.5 years, would you say somebody like that has not really gone to nationals and stamped, a top 3, or at least in their state, gotten gold? Do you think it's a bad move? Go back to amateur, or do you think people can, compete if they feel that that's their route to go into the open class, maybe prematurely?
I mean, if you're going to pull multiple classes, I mean, you can do pros and AMs at the same time. Like,
right.
If you're a good AM, then just go in the pro classes, get your beatings, and still get some of those experiences. That's what Travis always said. He said, "Go get your get beat up."
Can I bounce back to Tony real quick for that same question? What's your insight on that?
I think if you have not taken third in a national tournament, you have the right to do both amateur and pro if you choose to.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, if you're beating everybody in your class amateur, but you're doing it for years and years, I mean, that's kind of selfish,
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. But if you're still getting beaten amateurs, then do both. Ain't nobody going to question it.
I think that's where I was struggling with the idea of going to pro and then coming back to amateurs, is that I've had losses in these super matches, but I've put up a pretty good fight with guys that are ranked in California. I took the state title for amateurs, and I know that there's a national tournament coming up in August. Would it make me look bad to pull, amateur for nationals? I'm already competing with these pros in these super matches.
No, you won't. It won't look bad at all because it's just you against one other guy. If that guy was ranked like, let's say, top 20 in North America and you're beating him, then you probably want to go pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't worry about that, man. Ain't nobody judging you.
Yeah, if you're pulling and beating a guy that's really good, obviously you're pro. But if you're just doing super matches here in California and you want to go to like a really big meet, pull AMs there. If you do really well in that meet, you're a pro, in my opinion.
I don't ever want to have that connotation with my name of somebody that wants to go and beat up on amateurs when I should be competing with pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they got good points though. It really, there is a big differentiation when it comes to, small local tournaments. So you've taken a very convincing gold in California. So if you were to go to some smaller tournaments here in California and compete amateur, you might get a little flack from some of the guys beating up on all of them. But to go to a national tournament, that's definitely different, And I think I have known a few guys that have done that after polling open for a few years, that when they went to the nationals, they actually competed amateur.
Yeah, I really wanted to have both titles. If I could get the California state title and a national title, it's really, even if it was an amateur title, and if I can accomplish that or even rank in the top 3, I don't think I would pull amateur again after that.
Part of the dynamic here, I feel like, is I think we need to listen to the seasoned guys in the sport, and really take that into account. But there's always going to be that factor of each person is going to know their path, what they want, what's going to progress them, and what's going to drive them. Some of them, it will be that more marathon route of really just doing what they can in amateurs and learning as much as they can if they feel that's the route. But we've got some good guys in here to really get that insight from. That's for sure.
Tony, I have a question for you. Do you feel like competing with pros that you're going to learn, like it's a faster road to learning more on the table than competing in the amateur class, even if you're getting pros?
As far as feels, yeah, for sure, because you're going to get different feels, you're going to get different speed. Pros is quite a bit quicker, a little more coordinated. You most definitely. That's why I think, at your level right now, I think doing both would be very beneficial. Just watch out for your tendons. If you start hurting, dude, you got to back out. Because you go against the right pro and they're gonna take you out, and not meaning to. So just be leery of that.
Yeah, a guy who's been in AMs too long, you can just see it. So you're not there yet.
Said that.
What do you think, Josh?
About what dictates a pro?
Let's start with that.
One thing I wanted to say, like adding earlier to kind of what Tony said, but taking it a different way, is if you look at the NFL, if you look at the NBA and different things like this, guys don't just get to walk in and say, hey, I'm a pro. They get chosen, right? So like kind of what he's saying, like reaching that top 3 at a national or something, I think that there should be kind of a level of where either the referees or the guys doing the rankings or something like that, almost an invitation, right? Not to say that it has to be that way, but I think that it could be that way, like other sports like that. Because then if you just let anybody say that they're pro tomorrow and pull, which is good for the experience, but then it kind of waters down what the pro or the elite is, right? So yeah, there's always like different ways to skin a cat.
I think whenever I came into the sport, the definition of pro is somebody that had this is what I was told whenever I first got in the sport, is just somebody that had taken money at a pro tournament. If you take money, then you can't pull anymore. Either that, or if you're pulling at a Bill Collins event, UAL event, and he 86s you out of the amateur class, you're officially a pro. You know, those are the two ways that you become a pro in California. You know.
Yeah, it depends on the promoter too, for sure.
Yeah.
But dude, I probably took home a total of maybe $1,500 as a pro my entire career.
Right.
So you know, I don't think money is a big thing with us yet.
Yeah, I think you guys were talking about that earlier, just like the awards for tournaments and the money for tournaments and stuff. And I think I'm pretty confident that I speak for everybody in this chat when I say that, like, that shit means nothing. You know what I mean? Those things mean nothing. The videos of us arm wrestling and having wars live forever, and those memories live forever. And that the pride that you have that day when you get that win is the most important thing, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
I think as far as being a pro, though, as far as this sport being a real sport, a pro sport, I think that all pros should be paid per match. You know?
Yeah.
Regardless if it's $100, $200, you know, you want to get somebody up there that's special, you want to pay for the hotel, you know, their traveling expenses, whatever the case is, you know.
That's what I was kind of alluding to when I was talking about like being chosen. When you open up ideas for like sponsorships and things like that, I mean, even the like not that big, but how they draft players for these different leagues, like different sponsors could pick the guys that they want to represent them as opposed to guys fishing for sponsors, you know. But yeah, just yeah, kind of add to that. I think that you guys definitely should be held to a certain standard. And,
so what would you label it? Competitive contender?
What, for a pro or an amateur?
Between, if you're not quite an amateur, but you don't make good money from, you know, arm wrestling, you're not a Devin. Are you a
pro
contender?
So basically the other 99.9% of arm wrestlers.
Yeah.
There really is only like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 people out there that are making career money off of arm wrestling. But it sucks that there isn't, it's because it's so small, but yeah, there really isn't much money you can make in tournaments. And you would think that would be the way to dictate if you're getting paid regularly as an arm wrestler, when you could actually make a lot more just being a hustler and, you know, going after super matches for money.
Right.
But
I think those pros are doing a lot of the same thing that you and Josh are doing, which is creating the Facebook profiles and having the social media outreach.
There's that. Yep.
All of those things attached to it. That's where you really start to get your name out there, and then, you know, the money comes your way.
I had a buddy who was in MMA, and for them it was the same thing. Even if you're not in the UFC, if you're just like, there's basically the pro division and amateur, and like you decide. Well, I mean, I guess other coaches and other teams will decide whether you're good enough to be considered a pro, but it's not like they make good money. It's like you go in a fight, you win up to $1,000, or you lose and you make nothing. But same thing with arm wrestling. I think once the community kind of recognizes you as a pro, you're kind of a pro.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, who knows when the money or the sponsors are going to come in. All of this is, you know, we're still building. It's getting a lot more following. It'll probably happen, I guess. I don't know. There might be some people that say it won't, that have been around a long time. But I also heard people say that have been around a long time say that arm wrestling has advanced a lot. It just kind of depends on who you talk to. But in that respect, so there's 2 things I feel like we got to look at here. So yeah, we could wait for that opportunity where there are sponsors coming in and you're actually being paid to arm wrestle. You're being paid to come out and compete in a tournament or have a super match or something like that. But does that change the fact? Okay, so let's look at it as the open class. We've got amateurs and then this thing called the open class. When I think of the open class, I can't remember where I heard it. It was like Pradeep or somebody, I think in like in India or something. They don't have these classes, right? It's just one big thing. So when I think of open class, that's what I think of. Like anybody can arm wrestle. Like in terms of terminology or semantics or whatever, that's how, if I came in new to arm wrestling, that's the way I would view it. But in reality, these classes that we have and these steps and these levels and everything, it is a huge step from amateur to the open class. And so in that sense, it doesn't feel that open to me. I understand what they're trying to dictate for that term. But it is, so if you go into say somebody stupid like me decided to prematurely hop out of amateurs to, try and do what they can in the open class, that doesn't, I still have to go against, Alan Fisher in my class. If I go up 10 pounds, I still have to go against Oleg. These guys are still in there. And to me, are they not pros in our sport? Are they not the top of their class in this? And, so I kind of agree with Tony in the sense that just because this is small and there's not money in there, that classification shouldn't really go anywhere because these people have earned it, and even if you're not, like the starter on the football team, the pro football team or whatever, you're going out there to learn, you're going out there to fight these guys though, so you are fighting in the pro class. Then it's just a whole other thing if you're running around telling people that you're a pro arm wrestler.
Right. Testing yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, if you're beating everybody in amateur, you're going all these tournaments and nobody can beat you in amateurs, then you are officially a pro.
Right. What do you think, Israel?
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys have said so far. I'm probably someone who started in the sport a little bit differently. I started really young. I was 16 years old. So I kind of, for the first 4-5 years of my arm wrestling, especially, already being in like the super heavyweight, it took me a while to kind of build my strength to that point. There's only so much a 16, 17-year-old could do to try to be as strong as somebody like freaking Tony Thomlison. You know what I mean? So for me, it took a long time. I had to learn the technical aspect of the sport first, and I was exposed to a lot of arm wrestling. I had the arm benders here, so I could kind of go over there and, gauge myself based on the guys who were there that I was pulling, seeing how I was doing with them. And then obviously going to tournaments and finally jumping into the pro class, you just feel like making that jump from, like freshman football and then getting thrown into varsity, right? The next year. It's like the game is just so different, the speed, the power, the intensity, it all just takes another notch up. And I think that if you're going to, take that jump, you need to kind of be honest with yourself and kind of see how you're doing in kind of the grand scheme of it, and see if like where you fit into like the pool of competitors that you're competing with. So I think practice is a really big part of that. I think, tournaments are to go showcase what you got, and so are super matches. Sorry, I think practices are kind of, they really shape who you are as an arm wrestler. Like, how good of a group are you exposed to? How often are you guys meeting up? What level of expertise do you have available to you? What type of like top level pullers do you have there to teach you? Your latent natural ability, how strong are you? How well you are able to provide potential, there's a lot of things that factor in, but generally, yeah, I think like all you guys have said, it just, if you're beating everyone and there's really the whole consensus around you agrees that you're a pro, you're a pro.
Sure. Yep. Vadim, what are your thoughts on that?
So if I was to talk about like a progression, so say somebody's a newbie completely and they decide to join arm wrestling, and of course, depending on how strong they are naturally, the first thing you should do is find a club, right? I would not recommend necessarily to compete in open, even if you just happen to be freakishly strong, just because your tendons are not used to having those crazy pressures. And on the off case that you might hit, or you might go against somebody who is like a national champ and they take you seriously and they hit really hard, right? So I would always recommend people find a club, practice with, go to amateur tournaments as often as possible, get exposed to ready goes, do ready goes at your club. And then when I guess the best way to gauge it is when you first start off and you have your stronger guys who are established, and if they let you hit and they just catch you, then you should probably stick it to amateurs. But once they stop letting you hit and they like kind of set up already with you because they're taking you seriously, then you know you're probably already at the peak of the amateur, maybe start doing pro. And if you see yourself being the one that lets others initiate, so there's people in your club who started maybe after you, or maybe even at the same time as you, or even earlier, and now you're the one letting them initiate and you catch, then you should probably be an open. That's how I see it. Because you already have enough integrity, you already know exactly like how to adjust to them. You have enough table IQ to go to the open. And you're like, after especially like 2 to 3 years, if you've been practicing consistently, I think it's time to go into the open. Of course, you're not gonna win maybe small tournaments. You know, you could be the pro of the small tournaments and actually make some money in small tournaments. But even in big tournaments, you should still go and do open. And then that's why state rankings are important, because even though you're going to show up and never take podium finishes, you'll still your best bet is to find somebody else who's similar rank to you, and then you could go against them and see how you do, to see if you guys are progressing. So that's just my 2 cents. As far as pro, I think we should compare ourselves to NFL, because NFL and like NBA, they have big associations, they have millions or billions of dollars over there. They've been established in like early 1900s. Maybe not compare ourselves to them just yet. MMA would be like UFC, boxing would be more of what we are, because it's a one-on-one sport and we kind of hustle our way into it. You're promoting yourself, self-promotion. And I think if you just win any money at any local tournament in the open, you can already identify yourself as a pro. I mean, you shouldn't just walk around with the pride, I'm a pro arm wrestler, because then people are going to challenge you. And if you can't defend it, well, you're looking silly, right? So you have to be able to defend it too, especially to like any average person. There's no way an average person should be able to beat you in arm wrestling unless they're a college, right? Giselle. So yeah, those are just some of my ideas. Yeah, but of course there are different ranks of pro, right? Like that's why there's black belts in jiu-jitsu. I think we should have, maybe we even should talk about some sort of system of ranking as far as pro. So like black belt pro, or like a white, yellow belt pro, I don't know, blue belt.
Yeah, and the rankings kind of do that as well.
I think a master's ranking would be cool too in California.
Yeah.
That's a really good perception. I like the way you lay that out. It's very organic. I guess, yeah, especially like how you're talking about with your teammates and everything. Once you're at a point where you're holding a lot of them and things like that. Yeah, getting actually throwing money on the table against somebody that's a seasoned pro. Especially if you win, that's something. I'd say that there was 2 things that stood out right away for me in differentiation between amateur and the open class when I was pulling amateur and then pulling in practice with the open people. In amateur, you can kind of have that ace move and pretty much go through everybody. And the person that's going to stop you is more than likely that person that's been walking that line between open and amateur, right? Maybe competing open. And then the difference between that and open, to me, that seemed the clearest is, yes, there's a huge strength gap, but it's just the technicality involved and how to apply those strengths. Your ace move might only work against like 20% of the people. You have to know how to adjust. You have to know how to, you feel one thing in the setup. There's so many guys that can take somebody's move that's just fantastic and just chop that crap down, right away with a simple adjustment, a counter, a defense in the open class. And seeing those things so quickly is, I guess, what made me personally a little bit more fascinated with that, like in terms of learning, I guess. But yeah, we had Karl had to step out a minute ago. Yeah, he messaged me. He probably has to tend to his family, but Karl is really glad to have you on here. and all of you as well. We ran a little bit long. I'm going to try and keep these around an hour, but those were really good topics that we had to talk about. So before we close things out, just going to check in a few more people in. We got Clifton 1983 says, Tony, he's saying hello to you, Tony.
That's actually my little brother.
That's your little brother. Heck
he's
yeah.
in Colorado, yeah.
All right. Hey, little brother. We
Shout
got
out
Al.
to Joey Clifton.
And then we got Alan Fishman, who is Hodsey, right? Alan Hodsey. All right, he's in the chat. He says, "Oh, I didn't even realize this was happening." Everybody knows, Alan. This is the place to be. We're gonna try and do this every Tuesday. Some of them will do Thursdays. And to let everybody know, Josh and I are going to be kicking off soon another show called Arm Wrestling Gospel. So the Arm Wrestling Showcase, I could definitely say that, we agree this is more pointed towards arm wrestlers. This is a very purist show that is showcasing up and comers and topics that are probably going to more than likely interest actual arm wrestlers. The Arm Wrestling Gospel is a show that we really want to do some outreach in, a little bit of informing, get guys like Tony on, get guys like Bill Collins, get guys like Scott Wynn, get people that have experience in the sport, where we can do different shows, maybe just about rules, where Bill Collins can break down, his whole family can come and break down all of the rules of arm wrestling for the people that don't even know that you can use your body in arm wrestling or what those little hand pegs are for. I love the way Bill breaks things down at his events because when he breaks down the rules, it doesn't feel super technical and pointed at the arm wrestlers themselves, even though he is providing information we want to know. He's laying it out in a way that spectators can understand what the heck is going on as well, so that they can be informed and entertained by arm wrestling just like they would watching a baseball game or something, because more people understand how that works. So we want to do things like that, that really speaks to that new arm wrestler that's just interested in how to be safe, an episode on how to be safe. So look out for those. We're going to try and do these on Tuesdays, but yeah, we'll kind of sort it out as we go. We got Johnny Dang saying, who else is gonna get into slapping people? Is Casey's doing that, right, Josh?
That's it. Only Casey. So Casey has a match in Oklahoma City next weekend. And he's on the same card as UFC ex-UFC champion Tim Silva. So Casey's going over there, super heavyweight slap fight, and
against who?
No, he's on the same card as Tim Silva. Casey is a match, and if he wins that match, he has a shot to go against Tim Silva later on. But it's at a huge festival in Oklahoma. He's trying to get more eyes on himself and the sport, and to help grow arm wrestling as much as possible. I mean, it's a cool opportunity. He's going to go out there, and he says that he feels confident, and so hey. Everybody, we're cheering for him for sure.
Can that dude take a hit though?
Hey, how does he work out for it?
He's got a training video up.
He's been posting a couple videos. He's like slapping some punching bags and stuff like that.
Where's the videos where he gets hit?
Yeah.
Well, let me just ask everybody here in this live, how many times have you explained arm wrestling to somebody and they brought up slap fighting in the last 6 months?
Oh my God, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's all the rage, apparently.
It actually irritates me a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, this thing has just been around for a minute. Arm wrestling's been around forever.
That's right. Well, good on Casey for trying to get some of those people over here. But
absolutely.
And the promoter, I mean, if they're doing the two together, hell yeah. But oh man, that score looks horrible.
Slap Fight League or Slap Fight Championship. I guess it's the original one that was around, but yeah. So I guess it's going to be
televised.
It's going to be televised and everything. And so we'll all get to see Casey over there slapping somebody and getting slapped. So
Good God, I can't imagine him hitting people with those ham hocks, dude.
I know.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be horrible for the other guy.
What he told me was, look, if I win the coin toss, he goes, I'm confident. It's good. He goes, if I don't, well, hopefully.
How much does a person practice to slap?
So he's just trying to knock the guy out if he wins the coin toss, then basically.
Right. How often does someone actually practice to slap somebody?
I don't think too often. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he started practicing recently, and also you got to think about this. I mean, if I'm an arm wrestler, these are tools. Going to slap somebody on hand with them, hey, you never know. We might be looking at the super heavyweight slap fighting champion pretty soon.
I got faith in Casey.
I support him for sure.
When I picture him training for that to like take a hit, I'm kind of like thinking of like that Van Damme movie. What was it? The kickboxer one where his trainer's like whacking him in the shins with the bamboo or something like that.
I was raised on that movie.
Yeah. Well, he had me at one of our last practices. He had me slap him, and I didn't want to. I was like, bro, I don't want to slap you. And like, he was like, just come on, just a little one. I might have given him like 20% or something, just a little. And he was like, oh, so it's like, oh, dude, man. Woo.
Oh, Casey, man.
Yeah. I'm hopefully he grows that beard a little bit thicker.
I was gonna say that thing too. I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, there's your answer. We've got Casey. Casey's on arm wrestling team for slap fighting. We all got to get behind him.
Dude,
he's the first arm wrestler to ever do it. Actually, they said that they've been trying to get an arm wrestler to do it for years, and some way, somehow, it always falls through. They wanted to see how, because they go for different guys that have, strong arms, obviously. So they wanted to see how an arm wrestler will fare. And so Casey's the first arm wrestler to be a slap fighter.
Well, that's part of what, it seems counterintuitive. It's not quite like throwing a ball as an arm wrestler. That would hurt. It's not so much extension, but still, I don't know. Like, I hope his elbow. Yeah, I hope his inner elbows can handle it with
side pressure.
I guess it is, but we trained it in here, not like out there. I don't know. I still have faith in him. He's different. He's
the best way
I wouldn't want to do it.
The best way to train a slap is to go to a local bar, find a group of women, and provoke them.
Yeah,
dude. Why did I think you were gonna say something like that, man?
Yeah. just line them up, say some stupid shit, and walk right through.
That is hilarious.
Vadim's like Mickey. He's like, "Come on, Rock. We're gonna go to the bar over here."
That would be perfect before an arm wrestling match. Like how they do it on Over the Top, and slap each other. Get all angry.
I would have done it if I had two eyes. I only have one eye, so I'm not gonna chance it.
That's one of the famous scenes that Brzezinski was in. He was slapping Carl Adams in Over the Top. Yeah.
So Don Mormon says, years ago, a pro that didn't place that day, that on that day one, on day two, they can pull amateurs. Interesting. Okay, I think I kind of understand what you're talking about. And we also have Alan Hodsey chipping into the conversation, says, you're a pro once you medal at a tourney. Okay, so does that mean it could be third place, second place? Once you medal at an open class, once you podium at an open. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. All right, Johnny Dang says, I would like to grip up with Israel sometime. Johnny Dang's got your number, Israel.
Man.
You're so humble, Israel.
No, he's not on your level. He just wants to grip up to feel the power that beat me.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, Israel's very strong, and so are you, Johnny. But you know what? I love you and appreciate you for going for that shit.
Johnny's strong. He's up and coming.
Go after it. Yeah,
you're like a legend crusher now, Israel. I don't know if you realize it, but down there, down south, man, they roll out the red carpet every time Tony walks up to any venue.
Oh, I
So
know.
You beat their guy, and they're like, "Who is this dude? Who is this dude?"
Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna start watching my back now. I'm gonna have people looking after me, man.
I know. You got people looking for you, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got another one of my teammates in the house, Will Klingman. He says, "Sup, homies." He had a nice win against Chewy, and Chewy is an absolute beast. That was definitely a David and Goliath match. Heraclio Ramirez, he says, I think that getting a place in a national tournament as an amateur should be the line. But those tournaments don't hit our areas very often. I think that if you get over 5 first place, jump to pro. That makes sense. So everyone kind of has a pretty close variation of what that line is. And that still falls back, I feel like, to the individual as well, because the competition is not going to change. The guys that clearly are pro, that are taking that that money home in a tournament. The what is it? The after you win your class and all the classes pull against each other. What's that called again? Overall, right? I was going to say all around. Yeah, if you're taking home like that kind of thing, like those are the guys you're going against. So if you choose to do that, Johnny Dang says, "Sup, nerd." Don't know who he's talking to. We got Don saying, "Give me a damn white belt. I'm starting over." If you get a white belt, Don, I'm like protesting that shit. I'm protesting the whole belt system. We got Grace Bear in the chat. She says, "Put me in, coach." So we're actually going to get the girls in here, shooting for next week. I'm trying to talk to all of our, basically our ranked California girls, and so that we can get the most out of it. I think we're going to split it into 2 groups, maybe do next Tuesday next week and Thursday of next week. And yeah, we'll keep everyone posted on that. Grace Bear, Lonnie, we also know her as. She is absolutely amazing, very talented, and we're going to get a good group of girls in there to talk. I think it'll be a really fun chat. Alan Hodsey says 100% they think arm wrestling is the same as slap fighting. See, that's where the arm wrestling gospel comes in. We get guys like, Bill and some of these legends in there. We'll get Alan Fisher in there. We got another teammate in here. Lorenzo Munoz says, "Sup, everyone, driving home right now. Glad we can keep you company on your drive. Don't crash. Just keep it mellow." And he says, "Go Casey." Yes, kick some ass. Jeff Ray popped in, says, "Sorry, guys, had to deal with the kids. Thanks for letting me join. It was a pleasure having you on, Jeff. You were an absolute warrior." And I'm not talking about just arm wrestling, because you're going to tend to all those kids right now. You're going to have to give me tips for ours that's coming up. We got Lorenzo Munoz saying, "Sup, Tony?" Tony said, "What's up, back?" Man, you're following the chat pretty good, Tony. We got Richard Ringer. "What's up, everyone?" And Lorenzo said, "Not girls, ladies." I'm sorry, ladies. Women and ladies. We're going to have them on next week. But I think that's where we're going to have to cut it. We're all caught up with the chat. Is there anything else you guys want to add on the topic or anything like that?
Good luck to Casey, so he could slap some cheeks.
Slap some cheeks.
What's the date on that, Josh?
April 22nd.
April 22nd.
I've never met Vadim. That's how you pronounce your name?
Vadim, yeah.
Vadim. Yeah, I've never met you, but I can tell you're a good dude, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So that's coming up pretty soon. The slap fighting event. You kind of mentioned where it's at. Do we have a link, a source, or anything like that for we're going to tune into this?
So Casey posted it on his Facebook page. I shared it on mine. He just put up the flyer for the event. It's in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, April 22nd. It is at the cannabis festival or chronic festival or whatever they call it. But it's a big old festival there, and the slap fighting is one of the main highlights. So, yeah.
Man, this is quite an event.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's in Oklahoma. Oklahoma's awesome.
Yeah, it's huge. It's gonna be exciting either way. Win or lose. Again, it's a win because it's a new experience and it's it's something cool. He's gonna enjoy himself. So we're all cheering for him, and yeah, hopefully he kicks some ass.
Yes, represent, Casey. Slap the crap out of him. And so yeah, I think we'll go ahead and call it there. Everybody tuning in, thanks for tuning in. Go ahead and like if you're enjoying this, subscribe if you're enjoying it. It'll help the algorithm so we keep doing this successfully. And yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. Now that is a bicep right there.
I just wanted to say thank you again to Josh for throwing that event.
Oh yeah.
And I want to say thank you to Tony again one more time for the match of my life. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
And
it was a good time.
Rematch, just get ready.
All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate it. I just want to say one last time, man. I mean, I'm just one guy. It was everybody getting together. Casey, has been a huge help with me the whole time. The rest of the team has helped out a lot, Eric. But it's all because you guys all wanted to get together. That's why it happened. But I appreciate your thanks, but I thank you just as much, bro. For sure. All of you guys. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
It's just a start. It's only going to get better from here. This is episode 1. North versus South was episode 1. It's only going to get better.
Hell yeah.
Sounds
right
good.
on. You guys are a good group of guys. Thanks for coming on. Jeff, Karl, Israel, it was great getting to meet you, talk to you, and Vadim. Tony, always a pleasure, man. All right, everybody, have a great night. We'll keep you posted for the next one.
Take care.
They're good.
Comrades.